a guy, reach for stars in the sky.
Hi Robbie.
Hello.
Thanks for sitting down with us today. Obviously you're our director for Guys and Dolls.
Yep.
So I'm just got a few questions for you and we'll get underway.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so what do you like most about directing Guys and Dolls?
I think with Guys and Dolls, it's such a fun show, and it's a show that I'm quite close to. I've directed it a couple of times before, I've performed in it a couple of times before, and I think just the nature of the show, because it's the quintessential musical comedy, it's got amazing one-liners in it and great songs. You know, it's often referred to as the perfect example of that genre of musical comedy of the 50s and 60s, and I think because it's a fun show, it ends up the whole process is really fun. So that's why I really like it.
And how do you bring your unique vision to this classic musical?
Well, I always say with a show like this, the trick is not to mess with it. Let it be what it is. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy doing what I call kind of revivals. So you do it within the bounds of your budget and space and everything that you can do and the cast and crew that you get, but you don't mess with the original idea and concept. Obviously it changes a bit because, 70 years later, so it contemporizes itself just organically, but I'm trying to bring it back to the original kind of language of the show, the original humour, and humour doesn't really change. And a good tune doesn't really change, and a good song and dance number doesn't really change. So I suppose, the core thing for me when I start on a show like this is, okay, how can I just honour the original, the very original, and also use the reference of all the different revivals. And this show is revived a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's actually just been announced it's going to be on Sydney Harbour next year with the big opera show down there. So it is, it's been revived at the moment in West End and London. It keeps coming around all the time. So good old Ipswich is getting in early.
And you were talking about scenes and things like that. Do you actually have a favourite scene that you like to direct in the show?
Well, I think the song and the scene that's the real showstopper is Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. And I enjoy working with that because it's almost the full company. And I like working with big groups of people. I just love the joy of that. I love working with couples and, individuals as well. But a scene like that, and they're all, for those that know the show, it's when they're all kind of crammed into the mission and all the gamblers are there and all the mission people are there, and Nicely Johnson, iconic character, sings Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. So I think for me, and it is the real showstopper, it's that kind of Act 2 showstopper. So I think it would have to be that.
So how do you approach working with the actors to develop their characters?
Well, to be honest, there's not a lot of time with community theatre. I mean, I'm really dependent on finding the right dedicated people that can do a lot in their own time. So I suppose I kind of give them some beacons that they can use along the way. The trick is for them to own it. As a director, you don't want to show what you want. You don't really want to show how you want them to do it. That's not really good directing, to say, do it this way. Sometimes for expediency, you do end up doing that, but I just want them to own it. So I suppose the key word in that area is just allowing them to own where they want to develop the characters to. And it's a really highly characterised show, particularly some of the classic kind of male roles in it.
Now this one might be very similar to your favourite scene to direct, but what's a song or scene that has needed the most, creative direction from you?
It's got a couple of big, I'm really dependent on my choreographer, Simon, for these scenes, but it's got this big opening scene which is called Runyon Land, which is a big sort of movement piece that sets the whole scene for Broadway in the 1950s. And then about 2/3 through Act 1, the whole show kind of relocates to Havana, and there's this big scene and it's all double and triple cast, so lots of quick changes, and I suppose they're the challenging ones, but I really do lean on the choreographer and other team members for that. But just trying to get your head around that can be pretty full on.
What's your best piece of directing advice you've ever received?
Look, I'm a really strong believer in collaboration. one of my, I suppose, directing mottos and mottos in life is this: it's amazing what a team can get done if nobody's actually looking for glory. And I think the biggest bit of advice I received or I like to give is it's getting the right production team around you who are kind of selfless to a certain extent. People think theatre is all about ego. It's actually the opposite. It's all about giving and teamwork. And I suppose to create that environment for the whole production team, the whole extended production team, for all the performers, actors, dancers, musicians, full orchestra as well. So we're talking, over 100 people. Is that they enjoy the process. We have a good product, but they enjoy the process in getting there. It's no good getting there and having a great show and everybody hates each other at the end. So I suppose my central core with directing is to create a good time, particularly when it's community theatre. I mean, it should be for professional theatre as well, and it often is, but particularly in this environment.
Yeah. Is there any behind the scene facts about your directing process that you want to share?
Behind the scenes facts. Look, everyone thinks it's all about the director. With a musical, it's all about the music director and the choreographer. And with Peter Lawton and Simon Lynn, and look, I'm going to throw Jacob Olsen in there as well as a production manager. There are others. You shouldn't start naming names in this situation, but particularly those guys are so good at what they do, and it actually makes my job easier. So I suppose the secret is, I hope there's a lot of me in the show, but a show like this, the music and the choreo is so important, and they're doing such an amazing job.
And finally, what do you hope that audiences remember about this show?
I hope that they feel that they stopped the world and got off for a couple of hours and just experience the joy of really good, fun, wholesome entertainment. You can't really put a price on that. And there's a lot of dark stuff around now, live, but also, and I love my Netflix and The Stand and I love my crime doco and all that, like the rest of us. Yeah. But sometimes it can be hard to find something where it's just fun for fun's sake. And I hope that they're not going to remember anything deep and meaningful from this show, but I hope they've got sore muscles from laughing and sore face muscles from smiling. That would be my goal.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much
My
for your
pleasure.
time. We are really lucky to have you as a director, so thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Appreciate it.
Sit down, you're rocking the boat. Sit down, you're rocking, sit down, sit down, sit down.